Okay, this is the Jamaica Selectboard meeting for March the 13th, 2017. First order of business to welcome our new select board member, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Now that you're on TV, you'll start having groupies following you around.
Yes, I already do.
Oh, you are so. All right, first order of business, before we actually start the select board portion of the meeting, is we need to do the organizational portion, which is basically to confirm or assign
Appointments.
appointments. What did I say?
Assign.
Appoint.
I guess
Find
so.
folk who will work these jobs.
That's what we'll do.
That's what we'll do. Okay, so those of you following on at home, you have your, we're looking at the appointed officials on page 2 of this year's annual report. So far, we understand the fence viewers will continue to be Stephen Clark and Peter Andrus. Animal control officer is Robert Willis, who's our first constable. The surveyors of wood lumber and weighers of coal. The more we talk about it, the less we understand why we still have it, so that's vacant. The tree warden is Ben Williams. The cemetery sextons are Bruce Chapin, Karen Amidon, and Nelson Coleman. Health officer is currently Andrew Coyne, and we have a form that we have to fill out for you, assuming you want to continue in that position.
I'm not sure why that's short. They were 3-year terms. But
Yeah,
He's got a new,
but they sent this,
okay, we can talk about that later.
yeah.
it's from the Department of Health. Basically, they're asking if we're going to do it again. But anyhow, if you're still comfortable with that job?
Maybe. Can I read the letter and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
ready up to do it right now?
What we need to do is tonight, so I can send it to them, but if you don't want to do it, we can.
It's just 1 year? That's for a year?
I think it's 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought I had just re-upped on that.
No, time goes by fast.
You
Okay.
must be having fun.
Okay, that'll make 9 years then if I look through this term.
You could easily be the oldest. living.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the health officer, actually by browbeating, is Andrew Coyne. Deputy health officer is Joel Beckwith. The emergency manager is management coordinator is Paul Fraser. The rep to the Rescue Inc. is Stuart Barker. The energy coordinator is Chris Clark. The floodplain zoning administrator is Lou Bruso. That's still good with you?
Yep, that's
Good.
fine with me.
We have 2 seats on the Wyndham Regional Commission that are vacant. We're going to talk about that a little later. The planning commissioners in the zoning board of adjustments, Beta Bassett Chair, Peter Haywood, Greg Muellmans, Christopher Robbins, and Corbin Wood. Recreation committee is Tom Talbert, Rob Harris, Bob Johnson, Julie Olson, Carolyn Person, and Matt Winkler. The village beautification committee is Karen Amidon and Joe Dumas. The justices of the peace, Karen Amidon, Christopher Clark, Greg Jolly, Clara Robinson, Robert Willis. Fire warden is Stuart
Right.
Barker. Assistant fire warden is Joel Beckwith. The 911 address coordinator is Erica Bowman. And the council on aging is, your book says Alice Abram, but in fact it's Norma Drosky. Now, we have some positions that need to be filled, one of which is the outgoing Lou left us an empty seat at the Wyndham Solid Waste Management District. And Judy, I was wondering, since you've been working with that, is that something that you'd be comfortable with?
I'll take it to begin with, but I may want to share that with Andy, okay? So
Okay.
it's kind of, but I'll, so
I'll
you
put
can
you down.
name it.
Okay.
Yeah, put my name
We'll
in.
put Judy in for that,
Yeah.
okay?
I'd like to remind you that you need to send a letter to the district with your alternate and your rep.
Good man, thank you for that.
So-
yeah.
Yeah,
If you don't
that's
do
right,
that,
we
then-
ran into that problem with me.
Correct. If you don't do that, then it doesn't become official.
Is there any format to it, or just letters?
Just a letter from the select board saying who was appointed.
Okay, we can do that? if we
Does
can-
he do that, or do I do
The chair of the board.
We'll have to put it together for you.
Okay.
Now, on that, the next thing was we skipped over the Wyndham Regional, I lost it, the regional commissioners. It's not entirely clear to me how we're gonna manage this, because we've had 2 vacancies for some time, but we do have the Wyndham Regional Planning Commission. We're gonna skip over that tonight because we haven't actually asked the person we thought would want to do it. We also have the WRC Transportation Committee that you were on as well. I guess I got focusing on the vacancies that you've left behind and trying to make you feel guilty.
I'm not feeling guilty at all.
So the question was, if you have any recommendation or your experience of somebody who might want to be involved in that?
I don't have any recommendations, but what I do want to point out is that the highest priority that a town has, pretty much, is to maintain their roads. And there is no more important committee to be on in the Wyndham Regional Commission than the Transportation Committee.
So having said that, Joel, how is your calendar?
What that means is to go, it's a Monday, 4:30 meeting.
Every Monday?
The second Monday of the month, which is the same day as
Where?
this, it's in Brown, at the Wyndham Regional Commission
How long
House.
does it run?
An hour and a half, usually over by 6.
Yeah, and they're usually pretty active to go for a little bit. It
Although
is
we-
an hour and a half, just.
We met today till 6:20, but
Oh, so, one of the things about this particular committee that we've been involved with for a long, long time is the Depot Street Bridge is slowly rising up to a point where the state actually knows it exists. And so we need to have a fairly aggressive position within that committee to keep reminding them that we exist.
I can be fairly aggressive.
I've heard that. I read a book about that once,
there
yes.
was one.
So if that's something you're interested to do, I'd like to point you to that.
Well, I'll
position.
try it, sure, until I know more about what other things you're doing.
let me point out that I think you will need to approach the committee, or the Wyndham Regional Commission, who's the chair, is it called the chair, Chris Campany?
Yes.
You have to request that this person be a non-commissioner member of the committee. And the reason for that is anybody can go to the committee meetings, but if you're not a voting member, then you don't have the right to vote.
And I would be a voting member automatically.
If not automatically, you have to send a letter to Chris Campany requesting that the full Board of Commissioners appoint or allow you to be on that committee as a voting member, which they had to do for me.
You'll help me write that letter?
I can help you with that, yeah.
Thanks. Make sure you get it right.
Right. What I will do is I will accompany you to the first meeting,
Okay.
so that I'll introduce you and you can get to know it. But the reason this is important is because this next meeting, they're going to be discussing what the highest priority bridge is in the candidate level, which of course is our bridge to the state park. We want to continue to get pushed up. So this is a very important meeting. That's part of the reason why
And
I
that's
want
the first bridge going towards
the second.
Second
The
bridge.
Iron Bridge.
the Iron Bridge.
Oddly enough, that's a higher priority than you can see
Right.
through.
Right.
Rough shape.
Yeah, well, unless
We
it
are-
falls down.
Exactly.
Right.
Having said that, it did tolerate being hit by 4 houses.
Yes, but
Well, it is on the what's called the pre-candidate
Right.
list. We just ranked the pre-candidates tonight, and this is now the second bridge in the pre-candidate list. But next,
that one, also the concrete bridge is now pre-candidate?
it's been pre-candidate now for 2 years. This is the second year.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's the third year, because 3 years ago, both bridges were on the pre-candidate list. One, in fact, this was higher ranked than the state park bridge, from the town's perspective at least. However, the state park bridge got promoted up to the candidate level. So this is now our highest priority to get it done. And I keep reminding them every year, and that's the reason why you need to be active on this committee, is because people who aren't there and don't know their bridges can't fight for what you're looking for.
and they're talking about completely replacing
That's this can go to that level. If it gets pushed up to the candidate
from the
level.
point that it's at now, how long will it usually be?
Usually takes, once it gets pushed up to the candidate level, it could be about 10 years. And the reason is because it goes through the first, it has to be determined to be funded, then they have to go through the evaluation stage, because it's a historic bridge, it has to go through that committee, it has to be, there's so many hurdles it has to go through before it gets
And
done.
the cement bridge is behind this, so that won't be done for more than 10 years.
It, probably not. But I think this is a bridge that's gonna be so expensive that the town doesn't wanna do it on their own. The first bridge,
First.
cement bridge, because it has to be all redone, the whole abutment structure has to be redone.
And the Green Bridge, what's the defects on that?
Well, just to give you a little history, we will want to know this. The Green Bridge to the state park was looked at maybe 8 months ago by the Army Corps of Engineers as a way to get across the river so they could work on the dam, because we have the seepage issues on the dam. They did a very thorough structural analysis of it. They determined that a lot of the I-beams, what I call the girts, are they're the ones that touch the deck. The deck, because it's a wooden deck, is causing it to deteriorate. So the I-beams now look like a upside down T, because a lot of it is deteriorating.
Right.
Right. So that's the main structural problem with that.
And the mileage also was reduced, the speed limit.
Well, the
As
speed
part
of it
of
is, but more important, we've been granting overweight permits for that
Yeah,
bridge.
and overweight, right.
Up to 25,000 pounds, because our engineer certified it for that. However, the state has now told us we should not issue overweight permits on that bridge. Which reminds me that I did talk to the state park coordinator a couple of days ago and tell him that, and he's gonna have to redo a lot of their RFPs for firewood.
So is that mostly what gets carried by the bridge?
Yes.
Is there firewood?
Well, the state also can't do their full foresting program because the bridge can't handle that load.
Let me just make tonight's a little bit more on target. Have you guys chat, because there's a lot of history to this.
Yeah, we should chat.
He has
The more
no
you know
memories.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe the best thing to do is to ride down together
okay,
and we can talk about it in the car.
okay.
All right, thank you very much. The next opening we have is road commissioner that you're vacating. You left a lot of gaping chairs. I have applied pressure, not threat of violence, you understand, but pressure, and Lexa has agreed to accept that position. Is that still correct? Okay, thank you very much. She also, because she likes it, is our sheriff's representative to the Wyndham County Sheriffs, so she'll continue with that. Judy, I assume you want to continue as the transfer station supervisor?
Yes.
Okay, and so the other thing was you and Andy are talking about doing the Wyndham Solid Waste Management District together.
Yeah, we'll work it out, okay?
Sounds good to me. So a couple more quick things we need to do is we need to agree on the newspaper of record. In the past, it has been the Brattleboro Reformer. Is that agreeable to everyone? We continue with the Brattleboro Reformer as our newspaper of
We had
record?
good luck with it. We tried some other ones and it didn't work out. The Reformer seems to be the best one at this
Our
time.
office ladies like the reformer
It always gets in there.
for the town.
Yeah.
What's the alternative? The Commons?
The comments.
Comments or the message?
We've tried those, but
How if it works on.
it works. The
Been
Reformer
working so
works.
far, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, then the Brattleboro Reformer will be our newspaper of record. And the other thing we need to do is confirm, or at least discuss, the select board meeting. We currently meet the second and fourth Mondays at 7 o'clock here in the town office. Is that still agreeable to everyone?
I mean, that works. I think that's.
That works out
Good
pretty
days,
well?
yep.
Yep. Everyone agree with that? Then we will officially reconfirm that we will meet on the second and fourth Mondays at 7 p.m. All righty then. Anything else that I?
Yes,
We
your
need to,
job.
oops, hold on a second. We need to, I make a motion that we appoint Paul Fraser as our chair of the select board.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Does that mean I can keep talking?
And now, it's your turn, yes.
I've run out of things to say.
Now you're vice chair.
Now we need to appoint a vice chairman who will be serving in my stead, and with any luck, it'll be often.
I make a motion that we appoint Andy Coyne as vice chair.
Do I have a second?
So,
Do we
Second.
have a second? Any further discussion? Mr. Coyne? No? Good. Before he changes his mind and backs out, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir, for serving. We have appointed the recorder, that will be Pam, continuing.
Yes.
Tonight, she's got a conflict because she's also on the school committee and, I don't know, 4 or 5 other things. But, so Terry's acting as her backup this evening. Thank you, Terry. That is what I have lined up for the organizational meeting. Anything else that anybody can think of? Good, we'll call that organized. All right, the next thing we want is, first thing on the order of business is to ask for any additions to the agenda. I will add one weight permit. We had another permit that came in after I completed the agenda. So I'll add that in number 5 for the excess weight permits. Any other additions?
I'd just like to bring up some information about the transfer station and what's ahead of us.
Okay, I'll put you down for in here before we adjourn. Any others?
Yes, I would like to talk about the renewal of the site license for the hosting of our website.
Oh, okay. Anything else, anybody? Is that, oh, that you're waving your finger. No, you're good?
I'm good.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you for asking.
Failing to have any more additions, we will move on. The first, or actually number 2 on the list of items is the approval of the minutes of the February 27th Select Board meeting. They were sent out, available in the office and sent out by email. Did you get yours, by the way? You did?
I did not.
Well, I made a copy for you. Just in case.
Of the minutes?
From the February 27th.
Isn't that what this is?
Oh, you do have it.
I have it here.
Oh, good, there you go. I made another copy for you. Take them home to put on your book. So, after you've all had a chance to look them over,
It did.
and any additions, corrections, deletions
The agenda?
on the, no, on the minutes of the 27th of
Sorry.
September?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of the 22nd of February.
Do you have a second? While you're reading?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor to accept the minutes as presented, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, they are accepted as presented. Number 3 is to approve the timesheets for the town office, solicitors, highway, and transfer station. We will do that in our usual fashion at the end of the session. The same with the signing of the select board orders. That just moves things faster with all the people here. The next item is we have to review 3 excess weight permits. Originally it was 2, but we received a 3rd one today from Lawrence White Construction. And they included the insurance and the check. The check's not attached. Oh, there it is. Receipt. We also have one from the Barrett Trucking Company from Burlington. Again, the check and the insurance. And then we have one from the Journey Brothers in North Springfield. So I would entertain a motion to accept these with the usual restrictions.
I so move.
Second?
All in favor of having the newly appointed road commissioner?
What are the usual restrictions?
We have a statement that we have fixed these things. Let me see if we have one on here. I don't know if we do.
I think usually Pam puts them at the end.
Yeah, Pam's got a
We'll give it to her.
sticker. We put it in here. It's got to do with not very much season. Nobody's going over that bridge, the one we're talking about. Mud season, bridge. Basically not to use the trucks on the soft mud. There's something else, I can't remember what it was. Anybody remember what the other one was? At any rate, we'll show you because she literally have a sticker that we drew up several years ago. We just put it right on there. That actually, the whole purpose of the sticker, quite frankly, was when I was the road commissioner, relying on my memory was a false idea. So we put it together so everybody knows. So we'll pass these to the road commissioner. With the, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that they will be passed to the commissioner. Now, we also have another piece of kind of annual business. We have to review and sign the annual financial plan for the town highways. What this boils down to, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Carrie, which she never has hesitation to do, which is, we should all know that. We have to confirm the amount of highway spending, amount of money we put towards our highways to balance out the money we get from the state. And so we have to put in how much we spend on our class 2, class 3 roads, at least the estimate, the tax funds that we have to demonstrate. In order to get the reimbursement from the state, we have to demonstrate that we are paying our way through it. And so that's a form that's required for us to do each year. But all of the select board members have to sign it, so we can do that at the end of the
It's
time.
actually, isn't it $300 a mile? You have to certify that you raise at least $300 a mile.
$300 a month.
And we certainly do.
Got it, Courtney?
It's 68 miles, is that right?
Approximately.
40,
40, I think.
42, I
42.
think,
Okay, yeah.
43.
42, oh,
Yeah, we show what?
That may include class 4, and you don't include that in this. This is
Oh,
just
okay.
2 and 3.
Yeah. It's like $346,000, so we're good for that. So we will pass this around at the end of the session, and we need everybody, all the select board signatures on this tonight. The other item is certification of compliance for town road and bridge standards and the network inventory. Basically, we're saying we, the legislative body of the municipality of Jamaica, certify that we have reviewed, understand, and comply with the town road and bridge standards, public works specifications and standards passed and adopted by the select board, city council, blah, blah, us. And we'll have to go back and check the date. But we have approved that. We know this is all up to date because we had to get this very tight for FEMA to make sure that we're complying with the standards and the roads and standards. And so we will then certify that we do or do not have an up-to-date highway network inventory, which identifies location, size, deficiencies, etc. Culverts, we've got a culvert map that was just drawn up 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's current as of 2 years ago. So anyway, so this will be circulated for our signatures. The next item on the agenda is a discussion that came up, the background. We have, in the state of Vermont, for those of you who are keeping track, a real stringent public information, public records, what's the name of that law?
Open meeting.
Open meeting law. And so even our electronic communication is subject to some of the restrictions. Pam came up with the idea as we were going through, hashing out how we separate stuff on our computer from stuff on the town computers, that we really ought to have individual email addresses that are at Town of Jamaica, whatever she decides to put together. So it would be like Paul Fraser at Town of Jamaica versus my personal. I'm probably as guilty as anybody because when I took over this FEMA gig, I had no idea I was gonna grow old in the chair. And so I have an awful lot of stuff I try to keep separate, but it's still subject to review. And so I think she's exactly correct that we ought to have, the select board members have a business address. And she thought with the new member coming aboard, this would be a good time for us to do it right.
What, for like the agenda?
For everything,
For every-
any communication that we have
communications.
that's got to do with,
Even if I just email you a question alone without,
Well,
copying everyone,
you
which
don't
I
have to,
never do.
correct, no, you don't have to copy everyone, you just need to use the town's email. So you send me the message, it wouldn't necessarily go to everybody else.
No, I know.
Yeah, but the idea is to reduce our own personal exposure with our own personal computers and email addresses and get tighter compliance with this law. When it came into play, we all talked about it, and we all shook our heads, and frankly, I think it was at the time too big of a task, nobody wanted to believe it was gonna happen. But as we look around the state, and as Pam goes to her different meetings and different trainings, it's becoming increasingly clear that we should be in compliance.
I have a question. If I sent a question to Andy about something, can he cover me for this weekend on this new email?
Right.
Does that go to everybody?
No.
Okay,
It's just, unless you copy it to us all.
right.
Yeah, no, any communication between us is fine. In fact, as long as we're not making decisions on the computer,
Right.
you're not asking for the coverage is one thing, but no select board decision, we're okay. And I
Instead
think
of using our own email, we'll just have a separate email
Exactly.
just for town stuff.
it's just one of those tiny little details that ignored could bite us in the butt in the future.
So what Judy asked, does that go in the new town email address?
Goes
Even
into,
though she's not sending copies to all of us?
correct, it would go within his personal Andy Coyne at Town of Jamaica.
Right, and is that data saved somewhere?
Yes.
In his email.
It's his
Just
email.
like your own email you have at home, it's the same thing, you're just using the town.
But I mean, in
a
terms
separate-
of open meeting law, is that information available to the public?
In theory, it is.
Yes.
Mhm.
How is it available to the public?
We haven't done
Public request.
anything yet, so,
Yeah.
a blue.
It's discoverable.
Yeah, public
It's
request.
discoverable, that's the word.
Now, my understanding is, talking to Pam, and we haven't worked all the little details out, but my understanding is that address, because it's Jamaica, Town of Jamaica address, will be stored on our server, is that correct? Is that your understanding?
It'll be at jamaicavermont.org.
And that way we can really tighten this up a little bit better. Hopefully not after the horse is out of the barn, but I think we really need to do it.
And we'd have access to it on our computers.
Yes.
Exactly, she's gonna make it possible for us then
You'll have your own password
to get into it.
to get into it,
Get
at
pulled
your
out.
leisure,
So I
at your
can see
home,
her
wherever
email.
you.
No, you can see your emails to anybody else, it's up to you.
Unless she
Right.
copies you.
Unless
If
she
she sends
copies you.
something to Andy, it's just Andy will see it unless she
Yeah.
copies everybody else. Nobody sees anybody
I
else's
usually
email.
don't.
But you said that's still discoverable.
Right, if you went into litigation for some reason, the lawyer could request to see all the emails.
But on a day-to-day basis, it should be fine. But your question really is, you have access to yours, and we all have individual little spots on the server, and then us, we're all. Again, this is one of these worst-case scenarios that we try to maintain a boring little village, so nobody's interested in suing us, so that this sort of thing doesn't come up. But I think being ahead of things makes more sense than trying to pick it up at that good. So, I don't know if we need a motion for that, or it's just an administrative, doing it.
That's a good question.
Thoughts?
I don't really want to do it.
You know?
I will anyway,
That's suspicious.
because I've got 3 email addresses already.
You're a very popular guy.
That has nothing to do with it,
Oh.
but I guess one more won't hurt.
Well, one of the reasons for this coming up was that if, for some reason, somebody wants all, emails from you guys, it's not mixed in with your personal
Right.
emails, and you don't have to worry about anybody else seeing those. I think that was
That's
one of
the-
the.
Yeah,
only
to me,
reason I
that's,
wanted
that's how
one.
I heard it,
Yeah,
is that it actually protects our personal life.
Right.
exactly. Exactly.
And you can have these emails filtered to go to this account, so it doesn't come in on your email reader.
Right,
It will
it'll be
automatically
another,
go into that.
just
Yeah,
another,
you can pull it into
email.
Outlook or something if you
Right.
want.
along with my
Mhm.
business and 2 personal ones.
Yeah.
That would be another, that would come in, and that's it. No other, nothing else would come in.
To the
No
town.
spam, no,
I'm
Oh, that
not
would
saying
be
anything
fine.
about spam, but.
But it would be easy to filter because it's the only
right,
server that you're recognizing. So if spam came in, it would automatically be filtered to spam.
I think it's one of those
We don't
things that
get
we're
a
gonna
lot
have
of
to.
spam anyway.
What's that?
We
sure.
don't get a lot of spam.
No.
I mean, we don't on ours,
It's
you know,
starting.
but Pam's and mine.
We should
We're
bring
starting to get into my phone somehow lately.
Yeah.
My phone number,
Mm.
emails.
I guess we
Never
could-
happened.
I guess we could have a motion on it, just to
Yeah.
Make it official.
make it official. I'll make a motion that the select board use a new email system, I don't know if that's the right word, for the select board business only.
I'll second that.
I have a second. Any further discussion?
It's just a new email address.
Individual email addresses, correct. That's gonna
And
be.
what will that address end with, Terry?
JamaicaVermont.org.
Okay.
Pam will let you know.
No, I was just
She's
curious.
gonna
And you'll create the accounts.
Pam will,
Pam.
but we'll have our own,
And you'll
access.
do your
codes.
own your
And then
own
you
password and stuff like
Have your own
that.
password.
we seem to be kind of developing a system, because I remember, I think when you were chair, if we met with 3 people
Right.
in the office, that
We
would
have to
be
disappear, one
considered
of them has to, yes.
a
3
board
people can't
meeting,
be
right,
together.
and
Yep.
we had to stop doing that. So now this is,
Or one
like
of them
the
has
next
to, one of
step.
them has to leave. If we happen to be in here at the same
Right.
time, just one leaves.
It's just bumping into each other. And any email correspondence I've had with the rest of you, I never have CC'd everybody.
Usually it's one-on-one,
Yeah.
unless it's the agenda, when I did the agendas, because you have to do that.
When that first came out, when they first started talking about this
Right.
law, there was all kind of consternation in Montpelier and elsewhere about how to manage emails. And over the years, they've come up with this sort of a plan, and it seems to be the best we can hope for right now.
makes sense.
So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will all get with Pam and get new addresses. Judy has a question, wants to speak on the transfer. I'm going to put you in before the public, Judy, although you're part of the public.
Well, I forgot select board business.
Yeah, I'm going to put you after Judy, okay?
That's fine.
Basically, I just wanted to alert all of you that there are these changes in the wind, and I received an RFQ already about the little dumpster and how we're going to be handling the garbage, and I am I'm confused.
Anticipate.
And thank you, anticipating a new RFQ coming for the recycling and all of this. So I will be doing the research around all that is going to be, because things are going to be changing considerably around the 1st of July. So I will keep you all informed with what I learn and so forth, okay?
Thank you. Yeah,
That's basically it.
good luck with that one.
Yeah. A lot of change.
Thank you. Lou, something came up about the website.
Yeah, as you know,
I'm sorry?
I ran it, when we talked earlier, I ran it by
oh, okay.
him, so he'll know what you're talking about.
Okay. Any website has to be hosted someplace. Our website happens to be hosted at SiteGround. It's a pretty popular hosting facility. JamaicaVermont.org is called a domain. That domain is owned by the town. Also, there's another domain, JamaicaHF.info, which is the Historic Foundation domain. When we took the JamaicaVermont.org away from control, I think Oliver Olson had it, he originally created it, rather than creating a separate web hosting site for it, we grouped it together with the Historic Foundation. Number one, it was cheaper because two of us were sharing the cost. Number two, it gives all the control of those 2 websites to the town, because the Historic Foundation, you know, we don't anticipate it happening, but it could become dormant, in which case we don't want to ever let that website go someplace else. So we kept those 2 websites hosted on the same SiteGround host facility. That renewal is coming due at the end of this month. The renewal price is $390 or something like that, approximately that, for that site. I did some checking to look to see what other options we had, and I looked at GoDaddy. And actually, GoDaddy owns the Jamaica, or at least is holding for us the JamaicaVermont.org domain. GoDaddy will do it for $5 per month, or if you extend that over the same 3-year term, for about $220 approximately, so about half the price. However, they're willing to do it for 10 years at that price. So
What price?
$5 per month, about $4.99 per month,
Okay, gotcha.
which ends up being $60 per year. Is that what it? Yeah, I guess it's $60 per year.
It's about 7.
So they're willing to do it for $720 over a 10-year period. Now, if we stick with the same philosophy, is that we'll bring both websites onto the same hosting company, we would split that perhaps evenly with the Historic Foundation. And the good news is that we would have that $6 per month, which is cheaper than any other place, reputable place that I found. We could keep that price for 10 years. So my thinking is that we would do the $720, divide it in half, and split it with the Historic Foundation, and could do this for 10 years.
Is the foundation in agreement with this?
Haven't talked to them yet. We have our meeting coming up, but that's the deal we made with them last time, and I'm sure they'd be happy to do that this time.
Especially since it's cheaper.
And there's no difference in services, so.
Well, what I've done is they've given me a contract which has a 30 days to withdraw. So what I'm going to do, and I would like also, with your permission, to work with Pam on this, because I think somebody besides myself needs to know how to do this. I would like to work with Pam, and the two of us would put both websites up on this new hosting facility and test it before we actually commit to switching. And that way we have 30 days, or actually till the end of this month, to decide whether we're going to use this new one or not. And by then we'll know if it meets our needs or not.
There's a big difference between 30 days and the end of the month. You have time.
Well, it's because we have to either renew our license with SiteGround by the end of the month. It has nothing to do with the 30 days, but
Gotcha.
that's really the time frame we have, because we have till the end of the month to renew.
Sure. Lex, does that make sense to you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you prefer to have me work with Pam during the week, or would you prefer to have me do it on a Friday if she's willing to come in? It's up to you to
Probably on
decide.
a Friday when nobody's here, and this way we can just concentrate on that.
That works for me.
Otherwise, people come in and back and forth and whatnot.
If Pam is willing, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah, I think that would be the best.
Yeah, I think that's a
Option.
really good idea. Now, since we're talking about spending money, we do need a motion.
I make a motion that we renew the website, host.
Renew probably isn't the right word. We switch hosting site.
Yeah, we
We explore the option
of switching.
of switching and authorize the payment of $300. It's actually $600 because it's not $720. It's actually $600.
And you have to pay for this all in advance.
Right. You pay for 10 years right up
10
front.
years right up.
That's why they give it to you cheaper.
So which number are we talking, 600?
600, about 600, so half of
So
600.
about 620.
Yeah, I'd say half of that, because the other half would be paid for by the Historic Foundation.
All right, so to phrase what sort of a motion?
About 310.
Yes, let's explore other options for hosting the website.
And authorizing
Yeah,
an
authorizing
expenditure of up to $300
Yeah.
for a 10-year license.
That Historical Foundation website, right?
Well, it's the Historical Foundation website and the JamaicaVermont.org website.
Oh.
Yeah.
There are two
Oh, I
websites.
didn't know that.
They're hosting both
It
websites.
is,
Okay.
right.
Right. And if it turns out that this GoDaddy website doesn't meet our needs, then I'll renew the 3-year license for.
What are the possible differences?
For example, the way the data is uploaded to the website might be a big difference. They have a cPanel, SiteGround has a cPanel. They have to meet, all the requirements that we have. Chances are they will. I mean, they're both they're both the top tier of website hosting services.
So we have a motion that reads how again?
Explore other options for hosting the website, authorizing up to $300 for 10 years
For a
of
10-year.
hosting.
Right.
Right.
So move then.
You need a second?
Yes, you do.
If something changes, I'll come to your next meeting.
Yeah, I was wondering if, let's say the Historic Society doesn't agree with this,
Did you second?
or we,
No, I made a motion.
I'll second.
where are we with that?
We can decide
I'll
that.
second it.
Okay.
All right, so we have a
I
second.
doubt that,
and
yeah.
discussion is ongoing. Joel seconded it.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank Pam. Wow. And thank you, Lou, for bringing that to our attention. Proving once again
Well,
God
This is
bless.
how we're gonna miss you.
That's why I want to get this information transferred to others.
Having said that, we should point out that we're not missing you today, are we? Any other public concerns?
You? Yes.
What?
I guess that was it.
That was the one he wanted to talk about, the website. Judy talked about the transfer future.
Okay.
And I think we cut everything in the list that we had for bodies that we needed places for, places we needed bodies for. And so I think we're good to go. So I would entertain your favorite motion.
Motion to adjourn?
No questions asked.
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:00.